We already got enemies on my ping. There's one in that trench.
I'm an engineer.
Let's say we can try to fortify the pumping station would be easy to hold if you set it up right.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I gotta talk about the new patch. Is there anything that you've noticed with the new patch except the trucks driving better and the binocular improvements? From the moment I updated, I went into the game, I could feel the difference. Then I noticed I couldn't move backwards or change weapons. Then I realized that my key bindings had been reset. While this is a minor inconvenience, the last time my key bindings were reset was in Update 8, when the guns were updated with a new system for accounting for bullet drop. This had me a bit worried, as this was never mentioned in any patch notes. Another thing is my sensitivities in the controller settings were the same, but my controller felt different, and the guns felt sluggish, and my timing was a bit off. Now I'm feeling the sluggishness throughout the entire game, and trying to play Stalingrad is really just an awful experience. I noticed that when using the bar, the ADS speed is now slower. This could be happening with different guns as well, but this may be the result of the sluggishness of the patch as a whole. What's playing in the background is different combinations of graphic settings. The first couple clips where I'm standing in one spot is just to test average FPS drop when ADSing. The second set of clips is to try and get the FPS to drop as low as possible by throwing 2 smokes and strafing while ADSing in the smoke. What we are looking for is the difference between max and 1% lows. Even on medium settings, we are getting drops into the mid-60s. Epic settings, and the drops get into the mid-50s. But has far less drop in FPS from max to 1% low. I tested this multiple times, but using high settings kept the 1% lows at 70 FPS, and that's not too bad. In-game results will differ greatly, and your PC settings will play a factor too. Obviously, using a combination of high, medium, and low will be your best bet. The 3 largest impacts to performance in Hell Let Loose is shadow quality, effects quality, and post-processing quality. If you are getting FPS dips into the 50s, then I suggest turning these ones down while keeping everything else set to high. I didn't notice a difference in view distance, so use what you prefer. But I'd recommend against using the lowest settings possible. Even on lower end hardware, I got better 1% lows on high than on the lowest settings possible. And having a 93 FPS drop from being outside of smoke to inside of smoke increases the frame times from 7 milliseconds to 15 milliseconds. This gap in frame times can cause a visible stutter, even though the GPU is still at 99% usage. I even did some tests at 720p with the lowest settings and lowered the resolution scaling to 35%, and it did nothing to help keep those 1% lows above 70 FPS. Some users have reported FPS drops into the low 20s when using a sniper rifle, but I have yet to test this for myself. The devs say a hot fix is coming, but a hot fix implies that it's urgent and a quick fix. As we all know, if fixing performance was a quick fix, then this game wouldn't still have 1% lows into the 60s on low settings with the 2080 Super. Performance is always on a gamer's mind when it comes to downloading a game. Every game lists its required specs. The recommended specs should highlight the full experience of the game. Hell Let Loose is best played on high settings. Recommended specs for Hell Let Loose is a Ryzen 2600X, which is fine for running this game, but it lists a GTX 1060 6GB or an RX 590 8GB. If you have either one of these cards, you will experience frame dips and lags on high settings. The only thing I would recommend is upgrading your GPU or use a 1080p monitor. Can it run Crysis? Well, can it run Hell Let Loose? I do appreciate the LOD changes that were made, and the fields on Kursk now render to 330 meters versus 200 meters. I get performance is a constant struggle, but there are gamers who are being left by the wayside because the recommended spec PC isn't capable of maintaining 60 frames a second, which has been the gaming standard since the NES. PC gamers have played many more complex and graphically intense games over console players, and 30 FPS in some RPGs isn't that big a deal. But in a first-person shooter, anything below 60 FPS will feel sluggish. Let's hope the devs truly figure out this balancing act. And if they think changing the ADS speed of any of the guns is fixing a present issue, then I think you're looking in the wrong place where the issues really reside. On a final note, I have used the Kar 98 for a very long time, and the amount of times since the patch that I've had to put 2 bullets into an enemy at close range to take them down is beyond frustrating. Also, the amount of times I've gotten the jump on the enemy and got 4 bullets into them with an SMG for the enemy to turn around and take me out with 1 bullet is also frustrating. I hope this hot fix is an actual fix. We will see. I'm hoping for the best. Also hoping for an in-game test bench. That'll make this a lot easier next time. Thanks for watching.